All right, everyone, and welcome to the Angular Gaming Stream with your hostess with the mostesses, Mark and Jeremy. We are so glad to be back. Jeremy, it has been ages since we've done a stream.
It has. Why has it been so long?
I don't know. I was on world tour for quite a while. I was like everywhere, but like locally to be able to do a stream. And then yeah, timing just wasn't working out for us.
Yeah, we had NGConf. We didn't do one because we were at NGConf for 1 month.
Yep. And then I was in Germany, then I was in Amsterdam, then I was in so these different places. Hopefully, meeting a lot of you folks at home. If you ever see us going to be at an event, come say hi. Let us know. I met quite a few of you in person, and so did Jeremy when we were at NGConf. Quite a few of you told us how much you like the stream, and that made us even more excited to do these streams.
Yeah, I really appreciated people coming up at NGConf and saying they liked watching. So
yeah, no, that was good. Behind the scenes, we got to give a big shout out to Kevin. Kevin C. He's in the building. We love him. He's always supporting the stream as well. It's been made our life so much better having him around. So Kevin, shout out to you. Thanks for all the work that you do. Okay, let's greet our people in the building. Lars in the building. Yo, signals are life-changing. Enough said. Lars, thank you for acknowledging that. We are so happy that you feel that way because we agree. They are life-changing. We think that they're a really good addition. All right, let's see. 6'3" man, what's going on? Who else we got in here? Mothadi. Okay. Hello, service. I see you using the inject keyword. Jeremy and I have a lot of stuff going on with that right now. It's pretty funny. Repeat again. Hello. See what I did there? Let's see. Comunote. What's going on? Good to see you. So many people. What's going on? Evgeny, what's going on? Chris, what up? Good to see you. So many people are here. Jeremy, we got so many friends.
Yeah, this is good. So I have a funny story.
Yeah.
We started off this stream as a way of playing games at work, and also having nice chats and Q&A with people. And then my graphics card died on my computer, and so we started doing some other stuff and coding. And what I figured out in the past week is that my graphics card was actually fine the whole time. And it was actually I think almost a year.
Yeah, we've been building games for ages now, and yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, all it was is I had a PCI Express cable come loose. I had a little extension cable due to the form factor of my case, so I figured out I could just tighten up that cable, and it was working all along.
It was the power was inside you.
1080 Ti.
Let's go. Your video looks great today, Jeremy. Did you do anything else different?
I have better lighting, but
makes the world of
difference. The graphics card might actually be improving my video quality.
I believe it. Okay, we got so many people. Assalamu alaikum from Pakistan. Hey, welcome. So glad to have you. Sri, what's up? Good to see you. Hello from Sri Lanka. Let's go. Dude, what's up? Let's go, Vinit. That's right. Let's go. 3D Ninja. What's good? Good to have you. So many people. Somebody said gaming. How? Well, listen. All right. Yes. That's all I can say. Yes. Okay, so gaming is awesome. Making a game is fire. I agree to that. I think it's my turn to make a game. Jeremy made, I think, 2 games in a row. I have an idea for a game. I am, as you can tell from my setup today, I am in between permanent locations as we transition to a new place. And we have our place. We just don't have any of our furniture or any of our items. We have anything. So we're just, in the streets right now. Wait, not like that, but you know what I mean. Like we're just out here.
Literally.
Right, not literally in the streets. I don't want to misrepresent my situation. We're not in the streets. Jeremy, what are you going to play for us today?
So I literally realized I had picked a game right before I joined, just like 2 minutes before. And so I went to my Steam library, and there's a game I have here called In Other Waters. And so I'm going to try this. I don't know a lot about this game. I think the premise is you are playing the AI in a scientist's like helmet visor while they like explore under the sea. So we're going to find out. I'm bringing this up. And I'm going to share my screen into the stream.
Yeah, and I got to warn you, friends, Mark may disappear midstream, and we'll still have Kevin behind the scenes helping us moderate comments. But there's a chance that my car will get delivered from our previous city to my current city during the stream. If that happens, I got to get it because I need a car. So,
all right, let's see here. All right, you got me here, Mark.
Yeah, you're in.
All right, I'm gonna take a controller out here. I'm still rocking the classic Xbox 360 controllers for my PC.
Let's go. I love that.
Getting one of the like fancier, newer ones, but these things work just fine.
Yeah, they're just fine. They're just fine. Let's answer some questions while we're playing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Any free ebooks on Angular? I'm sure there are some. So you can check angular.io/resources, I think. There's some list of books and things there. But we also have a brand new tutorial that walks you through building your first Angular app. But you might be looking for more advanced topics. In case you are, fine. But let you know that that's available to you as well. Oh, Kashif. Yeah, we're starting. I know it's probably night where you are, and Jeremy and I will try to figure out a way to do this friendly for other regions where it's super late. I know some of you watch the middle of the night for us, so thanks for that. Oh, okay, Chris says, I'm eager to find out if I can improve my Angular sprite engine. Chris, drop a link to your sprite engine so that people can know about it. Yeah, definitely. I want to see your sprite engine. I want to see how it works. But I'm going to tell you this now. Unless you have a specific question for us that we can answer on the stream, I don't think you'll learn anything from watching us build something. Because we're not building this month. Hello from Vietnam. Welcome. Good to see you. All right.
Oh, things aren't going great for this AI.
Oh, no. What are these codes, Jeremy? Can you turn down your system audio a little bit?
I would like to, but I don't have the ability to get to. Here, let me try. We're gonna totally interrupt the flow here.
Yeah.
Let's see if we go back to the main menu. There are no settings.
No settings. Okay. And I can't even mute your share screen, I don't think either. Just a little loud.
Let me see if I can get into the game and then.
Oh, sure.
Lower it once it's going. But yeah, there is not even a volume option.
Let's see. Congratulations on the work done in Angular lately. Super excited for SSR and Signals. Thank you. JBBZZI. It's good to I'm happy that you're enjoying the work that we're doing. We're working really hard on that stuff, and it's getting better and better, actually. And I will say this, when it comes to SSR and hydration and server-side render with Angular, I know that we announced all this stuff at the same time, and I think that people don't realize just how cool the work with the SSR stuff is, and just how much cool stuff we released. So check it out if you're using it. Check it out. All right, let's see what we got here. How can I inject a service using inject when the service has more dependencies in the constructor?
I mean, if that service is marked as injectable, then Angular, when you try to inject it, Angular will instantiate it and give it its dependencies.
Yeah,
right? That's kind of what the whole dependency injection system does, is it takes care of those things for you.
And then Evgeny, I think Evgeny has come through previous streams before. I believe they seem familiar. But said, yeah, the service should be decorated with injectable, just like you said, Jeremy. Look at that. Look at that.
I have to watch 30 episodes of
All right. So we got hi everyone from sunny Florida. Javier, it's good to see you as always. Thanks for coming by. And I know you meant sunny with a U. Like I know. Wait a minute. And Nia in the building. What's going on in here? This week's question: which do you like more, Jeremy? The proposed block syntax with the curly braces or the @ symbol?
I mean, do we want to bias people with our opinions?
Only if we can make it a disclaimer, like this is,
Yeah, I'll say my personal opinion is I like the first one, the brace with the hash, the octothorpe, if you want to get fancy. It's just I like it. Just matter of personal taste.
Yeah, I actually prefer that as well because it reminds me of handlebars, and it feels like a flow that I'm used to. Even when I did React programming, I really, to me, it just clearly demarcated that I was doing something that wasn't supposed to be rendered directly on the screen, right? It was like some programming was happening in that case. So I actually, like you said, the octothorpe syntax is pretty cool.
No one really calls it that.
Yeah, well, I'm going to call it that now in every talk so I can sound super fancy. Crash course using signals. Fine. You want us to make that? Is that what you're saying, NWS? You want us to make something like that? I can make a tutorial like that if that's helpful. But the people have to let us know that's what you need. We can't do anything unless you let us know. Hardware keys. Tayamba, what's going on? Good to see you as always. What's your question? Do you want to do Angular and access a hardware key? Is that the question? Comment down below. Oh, he was saying because you changed your volume yourself, like your system volume with a hardware key. Okay, never mind. Okay. Abel de la Fuente. Hello. Valdecir. Hello from Brazil. What's good? Good to see you. Hey, Sri, don't come in here starting drama. If it's better, tell me why. Tell me why you like it better. That's so interesting. Friendly Neighborhood says, I'm so excited to use the new conditioning and deferred loading. Yeah, me too. I think we all are. It's going to be great. All going to be great. I knew somebody was in my corner. Javier says he also likes the brace as well. Are we loading right now, Jeremy? What are you doing?
This I think is like a little. It's just kind of walking me through the UI. I just updated the volume in my Windows volume mixer, so hopefully that is more reasonable now.
Sure. Sounds good. All right, let's see. I'm going to keep asking questions here. Fox Die says, "Oh, Metal Gear Solid." Yes, Fox Die. Is Angular safe for connecting directly to Firebase, or do I need to create a backend? No, Angular. Not only is Angular safe for Firebase, we have a package called Angular Fire that is available. Kevin, can we link the Angular Fire GitHub repo in the chat? Yeah, so Fox Die, you could definitely directly connect. So Firebase in general is supposed to be really helpful for you to create a backend without needing a backend. So it's like backend as a service. So it itself is your backend. Now you can call it directly in your backend if you're using Java or some other thing, even a Node backend, but you can directly connect there, and all the precautions and stuff are there for you. So you're not exposing your database if you're worried about that, right? With the way their APIs work. But good question. Yeah, check out Angular Fire, which is our first-party package that connects to Firebase. Okay, Jeremy, here's your favorite question. Okay, so how far are we away from zoneless SSR using signals?
We're getting there. We'll never give you a concrete ETA on anything, but yeah, we're getting there, right? We're working towards it. Typing away furiously at our keyboard.
Yeah.
I don't have an ETA. I don't have a release or anything like that, unfortunately.
Okay, let's answer some more questions. What is the best way currently to lazy load components without using the router?
You can just use dynamic import to import a component, and you can use ng component outlet or manually use the view container ref API to render that after you've dynamically loaded it. There might be some libraries out there on NPM that kind of make this easier or improve it, but I'm not super familiar with any of them.
Okay, got a few people from India. Kishore, hello. Let's see, Amala, hello. Thanks for coming by. Okay, certified Google developer, Angular developer course. No, not at this time. Is analog.js stable and ready to use? I don't know. We don't maintain that package, so we can't really speak to it. I know people are using it, and I know it's doing some stuff. Jeremy, do you have any idea about that one?
Yeah, I mean, analog is just it's a community package, so we don't really have probably really much to say about it. I think you'd have to just go check out their GitHub and see what the status is there.
Yeah, but the maintainer is really dedicated to the project and spending lots of time improving it and responding to feedback on GitHub and stuff. So definitely check it out. Give it a try. See how you like it. File-based routing is interesting. That's one of the cool features it has, and I know people are looking for that. So Vineet, are we looking at at single file components in Angular? So you can kind of do this right now with standalone, right? You could just put everything in one file, your styles, your template, and your logic, right? And then you can use that component anywhere you want in your application if it's a standalone component. Jeremy's doing something really visually beautiful. I still know what it means.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I've missed some of the tutorial, I think. And so it wants me to do something right now.
It said keep heading north. I read the message that you got. It said that's good. Keep heading north.
Get a little spot there. Mark that. Go there. Okay. Boop.
Let's see what it says for you.
So I have these like little thingies up here. These like little utilities, but I don't know what they do or how to use them. Maybe right now all I'm supposed to be doing is like looking around. The little pilot, you can see their oxygen, their power.
You ain't gonna make it because you're not taking care of that pilot. You ain't gonna make it. Steve Whitman in the building. Steve, saw you at NGConf this year. It was great to meet you in person and to say hi. What are my options with an Angular app to get reasonable SEO on an Angular app that will have at least daily content updates? You got a Firebase backend.
Let's see. I mean, obviously server-side rendering is always, a good thing to do here, or you could do build time pre-rendering, right?
Yep.
Like, if you just want to read once a day, you can do that.
Yep.
Angular Universal supports both of those. Okay, I'm getting the hang of this.
Yeah, so that might be the best thing that you can do. But here, Steve, do me a favor, just out of curiosity. Could you ask this question on Twitter, reply to the live stream on Twitter, just if you can? And then I would love to follow up with you and see if there's any more information that we can provide. Okay? That'd be super helpful. Ooh. Motadi says, what is going to happen with Angular testbed right now? It's based in ng module.
We have some work in our backlog for looking at testbed and figuring out what kind of future improvements are, but nothing concrete figured out just yet.
Oh, wait, something's happening there. You got some other actions on your UI.
Yeah, I found I figured out how to scan. So you could see the little triangles and flowers, and then I can direct my little scanning thing here. And now I'm going to take the little diver over here to...
So this is a topographical map, top-down view, a topographical map.
Yes.
And you're scanning. It looks like this could be really fun and really relaxing if you figure out the right way to do it.
Ooh, there's some movers. Oh,
what are those things that are moving?
I don't know. We got to scan them.
I thought that was you. Yeah. Almost. You got one of them.
Agile creature. I think it's a fish. It's a type of fish. So apparently I'm playing the AI in this person's suit, and they're exploring like an alien world.
Oh, that was a good scan, though. That was a nice little agility thing. Okay, let's see. We got Esther in the building. What's going on, Esther? It's good to have you. All right. And the link, no problem, Fox Die. Okay, let's see here. Valdesir says, when will we have a callback to validate async validators in reactive forms? Maybe an observable is valid method.
When we have a callback to validate async. I don't quite follow what that means.
Can you ask us and explain a little bit more what your use case is, Valdesir, so we can help you best? Okay, it's signal stable in production right now, not stable. I mean, it's in developer preview, so it doesn't have our stable marking right now. You can use it, but it is not at the state that you'll get the value that we're hoping for. Right now, it'll just be some syntactic changes, but we haven't done signal-based change detection just yet. Still working on that. But you can use it, but it'll just still be you doing change detection the way that it's working, right? So keep that in mind. Oh, that's a good question or good feedback from Friendly Neighborhood. I would love a session on building apps with system design components using Angular.
What kind of system design components? Are you talking about things like the stuff we have in Angular CDK of like list box and menu, or like a design system kind of thing, or something else?
Yeah, let us know what you're thinking. Because Jeremy and I have pitched some ideas about what types of streams we could do, but there's a big limitation. Time. There's a lot of Angular work happening right now, and streams take time. Okay, let's see. Okay, can we remove zone.js in a standalone application like in ng modules? If yes, can we explain it? So
not
you could
yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say not yet. Go ahead, Jeremy. I'll let you finish.
What you can do is you can have just one ng module at the very root and have all the rest of the application be standalone, and that works.
Yeah. Good. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, my bad. When using the technique you just described to do lazy loading, what would one have to be careful about when updating inputs, etc., and using on-push change detection?
Yeah, when you do lazily load a component like that, you do have to manually set its inputs, and you would have to keep track of the data changes and write them into the components whenever it changed. So it's not the most ergonomic thing. That's one of the reasons why I'm really excited about, you may have seen the defer block RFC that we posted recently, and that's going to just give you a way, way nicer way of dealing with that. And I think Mark had to pop off for a moment, so now you're left with just me.
Hey, I can help out.
Thanks. How are you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Honestly, this game is probably not the best game for this stream because it's a lot of reading and it's hard to jump back and forth versus when I'm just playing like Snake Pass.
Yeah, I have it as well, and I always thought it looked interesting, but then I looked at the screenshots and I was like, Have you heard of Dave the Diver? I think that's
have. It's on my list, but
Okay, got it.
I'm gonna be playing Baldur's Gate for some time.
Oh yeah, my wife and I started playing that last night. That was a lot of fun.
I have a trip coming up soon, so
Oh.
I've been trying to like avoid Baldur's Gate, like starting it before the trip. But I'm it's Friday. I might not be able to help myself after work today.
All right, well, let's get some more questions in here. I don't think we took this one yet. Matthew Whitfield asks, have you guys had discussions about the changes to core web vitals coming in next year and how it relates to Angular, specifically the new metric interaction to next paint?
Oh, very much so. So we work very closely with the Chrome Aurora team on like core web vitals and trying to always keep those as low as they can be. And we've had a lot of conversations about INP. And we even got some like early previews from folks on Chrome, like and other web frameworks have as well, of like working with Chrome to like give feedback on these new metrics as they're in development. And we've talked about signals a lot, but I'm very excited about signals as an opportunity for us to try to like drive the performance, especially for things like this, to be even better in the future, because we know that there can be, zone can lead to situations where there's more overhead than is strictly necessary when it comes to doing that change detection. And that's not to say that like, start using signals and it's a, magic solution or silver bullet that solves all of your performance problems, right? Like every technology decision like this has trade-offs. And, you don't get rid of all your problems and have no new problems. You just have different problems. But we think that the direction we're going with signals is going to give us a much better set of problems that, are aligned with, most developers.
Awesome. Esther White says, so happy to be here. Back to a world where Angular is a significant part of my daily life. That's wonderful. We are also happy to have you.
It's also a significant part of my daily life.
Yeah, right? Mine too, as it happens. Tinnick asks, when applications are zoneless, does this mean that there is no automatic change detection, or does it mean that there is no change detection at all? What's the difference between on push?
Oh, see, this is a good question. So it depends on what you mean by automatic. So if you were today to take an application and just say like, I'm not going to put zones in there, right? Like totally zoneless, then that would mean that there is no automatic change detection. That would mean that anytime you updated your state, updated component inputs, updated something in a template expression, nothing would happen. And says you manually ran change detection. Obviously, that's not the developer experience that we think most people would like. And so that is why signals is kind of our path forward to giving people making zones optional while still being able to have that automatic change detection. Because if you track your application state all in signals, then those anytime you write to a signal, that will trigger that much more narrowly scoped change detection. So you still get that kind of automatic thing. But the trade-off there is now you have the signals API that you're going through instead of just the raw JavaScript values, the raw JavaScript properties. So all right, chat, should I go north or south here? I'm gonna go whichever direction someone says first.
This YouTube plays Jeremy. Like Twitch plays Pokemon.
That would be fun.
Yeah. We had a follow up to the question from Friendly Neighborhood earlier about systems about a session on building apps with system design components using Angular. So they clarified. No, not design system. I'm talking about building apps with micro front ends, providing offline availability, accessibility, etc., etc. Angular supports all of these, but people like me are less aware.
Oh yeah, so like that kind of just like how do you build like the whole thing, the whole shebang with Angular and like do all the things right. It's hard, right? Like we try to help as much as we can for the things that Angular is responsible for, but obviously we can only, we can only help so much, right? Like we can try to give you, accessibility primitives and some best practices, but I think what you're describing is like a whole master course. And there's not, generally, right? Like for some of the things you're describing, things like micro front ends, like there's no one size fits all solution, right? Different applications have different needs. And so the approach you use for something like a micro front end stack is going to vary based on what your particular, project or your particular organization prioritizes.
Awesome. Well, it looks like we have Mark back, so I can hop off and let you get back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Kevin, thanks for being the MVP. I told you Kevin is in the building, and he's always keeping the party going. Somebody said course, and I jumped back in. That word is music to my ears whenever someone says course. So I do think it's interesting to develop something like that. But at the same time, what's really interesting, Friendly Neighborhood, is that there are people out there who have kind of done this already. And they have some like really great real world practices that you might be able to already learn from. But I understand you might want to learn from us as being the Angular team, but I understand there are other people there too who could help. All right. Oh, did we already get to this question that says, considering components will be flagged as signal-based only in V17, what's the current change detection strategy when working with signals in V16? I kind of touched on this, but you want to just kind of cap this off, Jeremy?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'll say that this is saying components will be flagged as signal-based in V17. That is not something that we have actually scheduled as a release, right? Like that's we put out the RFC for signal-based components, but we haven't actually slotted them into a particular release yet. So I want to make sure I call that out. Is like that's not necessarily something that is going to be in like V17.0.0. And then separate from that, like what is the change detection strategy with working with signals in V16? There really isn't a solid story there. This is why signals are still in developer preview, is because we don't have super great guidance figured out yet for using signals in you can use signals and everything is still like being powered by zone change detection. When we do have signals more, closely integrated into the framework, it'll be a much smoother story.
Yeah, sounds great. Maybe jumping ahead here, but has a new extension like .ng been considered?
I've thought about it. I've considered it. We haven't actually had like a conversation about it as a team, but it's, there is a cost to introducing something like that, right? Like IDEs need to understand it, and like especially like inside of Google, Angular exists in an ecosystem of a larger technology space, and it's nice that Angular templates are .html files, because then you can use like something just like Prettier to format them, and it formats them just like HTML and knows what to do. IDEs know what to do, because it's like, yep, this is just an HTML file, I know what to do with that. Same for like TypeScript files. If you're going to do like large scale TypeScript refactorings, it's like, yep, I'm just going to do that across all TypeScript files. And if you start introducing new files, like, say you had some hypothetical single file authoring format that's something like Svelte or Vue, then you actually do all of this extra work to be like, well, most of our TypeScript code is in TS files, but some of it lives in these other files, and we have to write special handlers for that in our like IDEs and our refactoring tools and all of that. So, there are some, developer experience advantages, but then there's also some like infrastructure trade-offs.
Scan those dots. What are those things?
So the little triangles are like waypoints.
No. Those little moving dots. What kind of animal are those?
They're like little alien coral reefs.
Nope, the ones that are moving.
Oh, they're like fish.
Oh, fish.
I scanned them. All right.
Fish. So you're getting the hang of this thing. All right.
Kinda. Okay, we're gonna give this.
Oh wait, somebody said something that's true. Do I mean X? Fine. Sure, I mean X. All right. Have you all considered had discussions about the changes to? Oh, we did this already. I think you already answered that one. A core vitals question. Okay. Okay. So many comments. Let's see. Will you remove normal change detection when signals are stable? No. No, we cannot. Let me tell you why. Listen, do why we can never do this. I won't say never, but why it's just not likely to happen, because there is a massive, massive community of developers with existing applications that will always, there's always gonna be legacy apps. So we'll have to keep support, because one of our core tenets is to not break people, right? We really try hard not to break developers when we make significant changes. And this kind of falls in line with that if we removed like standard change detection because of signals, we force someone with a million line application to be broken if they want to get the newest update. And that just feels really bad. We don't want to do that.
Yeah. I also wouldn't call it standard change detection or normal change detection. We have like zone-based change detection, and in the future there will be like signal-based change detection. But like,
yeah,
neither one of them will be like the standard or the normal one. Although when we get far enough along, signals will definitely become the default.
Okay. Is there a significant update to Angular material on the horizon?
Maybe. People love asking questions that I don't have, that I can't give concrete answers to. What I can say is, definitely go watch the commits that are happening on the repo.
Yeah.
Hear about this. You can see that there's a lot of work happening, right?
Yeah.
The repo is by no means dormant. And most of that work is in updating all of the components to be based on design tokens. And design tokens give a huge amount of flexibility to what we're able to accomplish with the components. And we'll be seeing some cool stuff coming out of that eventually.
Feels good. Okay. We are so far behind on questions. People have been really out here. Will there be any migration path or documentation to remove zones and embrace signals? When the time comes, we will help.
Yeah, like with migration paths, right? Especially like documentation for sure. Migration paths, definitely, like we want to always make changes like that as tool assisted as we can. So I think a good example of this is we recently released some standalone migration tooling. Again, like ng modules are, we're not removing them in the foreseeable future, but we provided optional tooling, these generators and schematics that you can run that will do most of the work for moving your application to standalone. The tool isn't able to do like 100% of the work, though. There are some cases where particular combinations of providers and imports and ng modules are a little bit ambiguous, which is actually one of the nicer things about standalone is it's a lot less ambiguous like that. And so the tool will do as much as it can and then leave whatever it can't figure out to you. And we expect to do more tools like that as we go forward. And that is probably a strategy we will use for signals where, it is impossible to take an existing application and just automatically migrate it onto signals. But there are tools we can build to help automate a lot of parts of that process.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay, so let's see. I was wondering, will Angular elements be affected by all these new changes, or will it be enhanced? I need to make native web components.
We don't have any short-term plans to do much work on Angular elements, but we will revisit it at some point, right? I think in the short term, right, it works the way it works today. It's fully functional, right? But in terms of making bigger enhancements or refactorings to it, we don't have anything like in our short-term roadmap for that.
Yeah, that sounds right. All right, so let's see. What tech stack does Google use for its projects for front end? Does it use Angular?
Google uses a lot of things. Google is a huge company, and different products, we talk about this all the time, Mark. Different products have different requirements. And so there's no such thing as one tech stack that
to rule them all.
That works for all products. Google does use Angular, and you can see Angular being used in
Firebase console.
Yeah, Firebase console, Google Cloud Developer console,
domains,
messages for web. Yeah, pour one out for Google domains.
Man,
feels bad. What else? There's a bunch of them. But then there's also, there's a couple of other web frameworks that are not open source used inside of Google, and those things power other Google products, right? Things like Google Search and Ads and Google Docs. Like there's web frameworks in there. It's just that they're not open source web frameworks. They're like Google internal technologies, and so a lot of Google stuff uses that as well. And so it's a mix. There's not like a one size fits all solution for everyone.
Yeah. So I was wondering. Well, I did that one already. How that one keeps coming up? Well, sorry, Javier. Simon asks, will NG forms be made standalone in the future? Any plans to integrate signals?
Yes and yes at different times, maybe. We do have something tracking getting like all of the Angular forms, and also like all of our first party things like Angular CDK and Angular Material and everything else to be standalone at some point, and then further out probably having signal integration for all of these things. Just takes time to move the whole ecosystem, right? There's a lot of APIs, and we only have so much attention we can devote at any given time. Ooh,
True.
I can't move to this little waypoint over here. It's blocked
by all that foliage. I'm not completely sure what the point of this game is.
If I was paying more attention to the dialogue. All right, I'm taking a sample here. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Didn't you convince me not to play Mass Effect so that I could play Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah.
I don't even play that.
Why aren't you?
Because so my little one, he caught me playing Tears of the Kingdom. He saw me playing it, and he really wanted to play, but I did not want him to get his hands on my new Switch. And so I said, I have a Zelda you can play that looks the same, and it does. It looks the same. So we went back to Breath of the Wild, but he's going to be 6. So there are some parts he can do by himself, but then a lot of the puzzles get a little bit too complex. And so I've been just helping him play Breath of the Wild. So I'm going to end up replaying Breath of the Wild from the beginning. And then I'll finally get back to TOTK.
Yeah. Mass Effect is great, though.
Yeah. Mass Effect is great. But this game reminds me of that. Like, I used to love the missions of just like mining for materials. Okay. Let's see. Let's keep it going because we got so much interaction today, and I want to take much advantage of having everybody's time today. An idea that occurred to me, this is from Victor Alvarado, an idea that occurred to me some time ago. How about to add a schematic that generates components and services with examples of HTTP requests using RxJS in the cleanest and most correct way possible?
It assumes that there is a correct way. Right? Again, we got our saying is there's no one size fits all solution for everyone. What might be correct for one app may be correct for a different app depending on the use case and the type of data you're doing and everything else. So there's that for one.
Yeah.
But also go for it.
Yeah. Make a little cookbook.
Ooh, there's like a deep chasm here. Oh, is this a dead end? Let's see. Can we take a sample here? No samples. Okay, nothing for me to do here. Yeah, total dead end.
I'm trying to reason with a child is really hard. I'm like, you cannot be on camera. Do not go on camera. Not because, so I don't like him to be on cameras because the internet is filled with good actors and bad actors. And so with children, you have to be very, very careful because people like to do really weird things. So it's like, don't be on camera. Don't try to come over here. I like signals. They make code more readable. Now developers know what are the states. That's true. I agree. Let's do. No one will accidentally put a random value on the screen. Implementing signals is an awesome breaking change. Okay, so from my point of view, let's do. Actually, when I found out we were doing signals in this one meeting a long time ago, I remember feeling like, man, this is going to be great because it's so clear. And then I could explain to people exactly what's happening. One of the hardest things coming from React to Angular for me was that I was missing set state to know when to change the UI. And I was just like, wait, how does it know? It just does it. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool because I don't have to think about it, but I missed that deterministic behavior of like, okay, set state will trigger, this process. So I agree. Very, very cool. All right, Jeremy, I think we caught up on the questions, which was great. So I'd say something cool that happened. We released a new YouTube short from it was based on our, like live streams. And people want us to make YouTube shorts. They actually are asking, like, please make more YouTube shorts. And here was the rationale that was given. There are busy developers who will not watch a 5-minute video. So our attention economy has changed significantly.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy being clipped into shorts.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I'm probably gonna do. I'm probably gonna take some of our answers from today and be like, oh, this is a really great question. Let me clip that into a short. But here's the hard part about shorts. They gotta be 60 seconds. 60 seconds. And sometimes we talk a lot.
Uh-huh. We just have to have more pithy answers then.
Yeah. Just like boom.
Just BuzzFeed article answers for all of our questions. Let's see.
No, I think Angular is just doing some great stuff. I'm just so excited for what we're doing. And just as a developer, I'm excited. As a part of the Angular team, I'm excited. So we're just on to something. I think we're really cooking right now. Jeremy, if you had to say right now today, what was a feature? Okay, I got a good question for you, Jeremy. Mm-hmm. What's a feature that you feel like more people should be using in Angular, like one of our newer features? And then what's a new feature that we are working on that you can't wait to see like be released publicly?
Okay. Well, you know what feature I'm going to say that people should use more, but it's the directive composition API.
I knew you were going to say that. Yes, I did know that.
Right? I love the directive composition API, or we call it host directives, but it's such a powerful composition model. And I think that I would really like to see more interesting uses of it out in the wild. Although I'm not super on social media these days, so I'm not seeing as much.
Yeah, I've been on Threads lately.
A while ago.
You said what?
Deleted my Twitter account a while ago.
Oh, you did? Yes, you did. Yeah, I've been on Threads and still Twitter, but mostly, trying to figure out what's going to happen with Threads. I think it's an interesting space, but like tech thread spaces haven't really popped up yet, and Threads is still quite underfeatured just because it's a new product.
Yeah, I also don't have an Instagram account, and so Threads is not like as easy sell for me, right? Really, the thing I look at most now is Mastodon, which I think I have my little Mastodon thing under me here. So
you do.
Get on Mastodon. It's nice.
Yeah, pass. Okay, AWS. I'm going to challenge you on this one. Do we mean X, Actually, Jeremy deleted his Twitter account because it was still Twitter when he deleted.
Yeah.
Now, I am still on X. You're correct. But Jeremy deleted his Twitter account, not his X account.
I'm stuck, Mark. I don't know where to go.
Yeah, I don't know either. Let's see. Rather than shorts, I would rather have short full screen videos using full screen to show examples. That's also a good point. Content is super hard, but I've been digging deep. Oh, wait, you just dived into something.
So yeah, I went into this cavern. I was here a minute ago. But even down here, right, like I can go to these 2 spots.
Yeah.
Take some samples here. But
you got to be able to like burn those coral reefs or whatever there.
Oh, that's actually an interesting idea. Can I like do something?
Yeah.
Can I like drop this out onto the map?
I don't know what any of that stuff does, but there seems to be more if you can get past that blocker.
Can I do that? Oh yeah, did it.
What was it? I don't know what that was. But you did it though.
Good thinking.
Yeah. I don't know if that's good that I thought destructively immediately while you're exploring this alien world.
I didn't destroy anything. What the little voice said is that like whatever that was, it caused the little like reef to retract.
Oh, okay.
Give me a chance to get through it.
All right. Let's see. Is there a naming convention for signal variables if even needed, similar to the trailing $sign commonly used for observables?
See, I have a controversial opinion here.
Ooh, go for it.
I don't like naming conventions like that. Like back in the jQuery days, I didn't like using $sign for jQuery things. I don't prefer using $sign for observables, and I don't love it's just not a pattern I like. I think then like the IDE gives you the information you need for things, and like the name for things should kind of convey strongly enough what it is. Like you have the information between like the IDE and the name to know what it is and how to interact with it. And so I wouldn't like, if it were up to me, which it's not entirely up to me, there would like be no like special naming convention, right? Like your signals would just be named, first name, age, address, whatever you want to call them, without a special marker.
Sure. Okay. All right. Thanks from India. No, thank you for tuning in. It's pretty great. Now, if I am thinking about what feature I think people should use, I would say what I think is the greatest set of features for Angular that the streets are not leveraging. In my mind, it's the CDK. I don't know why everybody's not talking about the CDK and all the great things that it does. I just can't fathom it, because you could build so the CDK, the component development kit, gives you all of these UI primitives that already have accessibility and all the functionality that you want. It gives it all to you, and you could like extend it and still maintain those core pieces of like, what's important. And the fact that people aren't just like using them nonstop or talking about them nonstop, that blows my mind. I don't know why. I'm like, that's number one feature. Okay, so if I had to guess what's new that I want people to use, I think everything we're doing around server-side rendering is like, it's just fantastic. It's like otherworldly in my mind in terms of like the value add there. We went from. Go ahead, Jeremy.
The deferred blocks too, right? Like
not
strictly server-side rendering, right? It's more about lazy loading, but
lazy, but still, it's just in that same realm of like work that's being done. I think that stuff is just like going to be the cat's pajamas. Sorry, our international friends, that's an idiom that just means really cool. That's all it means, is really cool. But it's just an idiom. I know we shouldn't really use idioms like that, so I'll be mindful. Whoa. 2 a.m. in Indonesia and you hanging out with us? That's awesome.
I don't know what door hit, but
I bet this game is really exciting to watch for chat.
It actually looks a little interesting. I've been trying to read the conversation on screen. So
yeah, I'm going to like start this game again at some point in the future and like play it for real because I'm kind of just like.
reminds me a lot of Subnautica, I guess.
Yeah, I've never played Subnautica, but I know
God.
it's like quite well
You're missing
regarded.
out. They did a one of the cool things they did for the second one was they did an announcement party at the Monterey Aquarium near us.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of cool. All right, Mark is back.
I am. Thank you for jumping in like at the drop of a like I think you saw me talking with not on the mic. But yeah, I was trying to convince my child that he cannot be in the live stream. He's too young to consent for it. And like I said, the internet is too weird for me. Like you all are great, who are the community is great, but the people outside of the community who do stuff, I don't trust people like that. Okay, let's see. All right, so many comments. We're gonna get this again, Jeremy. This happens at least once a stream. The streets ask for this, so we would like to see some means provided by Matt Table instead of finding a hack. They want a material table.
What means for what?
I don't know. They just want.
Yeah. I mean, so I'll say
They
like
want Matt Table.
Matt Table is a table, right? It is not intended to be a fully fledged data grid that gives you every feature under the sun. It is, for now, just a more basic HTML table, and you can, you have some features there, right? Like you can shuffle around columns, right? It has, it has various features over the native table that, better quality of life things, but something like, the kinds of data tables you see in like Kendo UI and AG Grid and whatever else, right? Like those, there are whole companies supporting those grids, right? Like that is their business model. And the team for, Angular components is relatively small. So we have a lot of other things that take up our attention. And will we improve it someday? Maybe. Will we add more features? Maybe. But in the short term, I wouldn't, count on it having all of those same features as you'd see in other more commercial products.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. I think we're gonna wrap today in like 2 minutes, Jeremy. So let's rapid fire some questions here.
All right, let's rapid fire lightning round.
All right. Any plans on extending signals to ecosystem to handle async events like create resource API in Solid.js?
We're thinking about it. We don't have anything figured out yet, though.
But right now, signals are synchronous activities.
We're
really important.
So what we're thinking about, like signals are always synchronous. That is without question. The question is there an API or a set of APIs we could introduce that can make it easier for dealing with asynchronous data in a signal world? And we're still thinking about it, right? Like these things kind of take a lot of discussion and time to figure out the way we want to kind of put a solution together.
Okay. Tayamba says, this game's kind of like Subnautica plus the Outer Wilds. Ooh. Very good combination of ideas there.
Yeah, I love Outer Wilds. That game is just stellar.
That's interesting. We should talk about that. Are there any improvements to transfer state lined up to remove the boilerplate required to fetch data on the server only when in SSR?
I actually don't know much about the boilerplate required there. So I'm not actually the best person equipped to answer that question. I know transfer state is going to be involved in the work we're doing for the defer blocks, but I don't know if the non-defer case is going to be affected at all.
All right, last one. Any plans to add support for vitest in the future?
It's something we've considered. There's no short-term plans. As you've seen, we have experimental support for building in Jest right now, and we may expand it further in the future based on feedback. So, make your feedback known, but For the short term, the plan is just Jest and Web Test Runner.
And then this is the best way to close this stream together is to say, in addition, you guys are doing an amazing job with all the new changes. No, you are doing an amazing job being a part of the Angular community, and we are grateful for you all. This type of feedback, this type of interaction lets us know what people are looking for, lets us know how we're doing, and we really appreciate it, friends. So thank you all, and we thank you for this positive feedback. Jeremy, it has been so good to get back to hanging out again on stream with you.
Yeah, it would be great. And next time, we got to figure out ahead of time what we're going to do.
Yeah, no, I'm going to build. I told you, I text you that game I want to build.
Okay.
It's pretty chaotic when I think about it, because whenever I have to build in front of everybody, it's always like a chaos moment, and you're very calm, and I'm the opposite. But I like the challenge. So maybe we'll build a game next month. I should have my studio set up again, and then I won't be in the kitchen of of somebody's house, and I'll be back to my normal setup by the next stream. All right, friends. Hey, this is what I need you to do. Go ahead and please do me a favor. I need something from you all as we get ready to say goodbye. I need you to like this video. So like the stream, give it a thumbs up. That helps us so much. So give it a thumbs up. Thanks for all your comments and all your feedback. And then really, really at the end of the day, just get out there and go build great apps. We'll catch you the next time.